Our story begins in the Holy Roman Empire, in the year 1480. It was here, in the heart of Germany, that a boy named Goetz von Berlichingen was born into a noble family. His path was shaped by the turbulent and war-torn environment of medieval Europe, where knights wielded great power. Goetz's journey would lead him to become a figure larger than life, an imperial knight who defied fate with an iron hand. As we get ready to explore the legendary tale of Goetz, of the Iron Hand, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with anyone who's passionate about medieval warriors, and subscribe for more epic historical stories. But before we dive deeper into Goetz's life, let's first understand what it meant to be an Imperial Knight. In the Holy Roman Empire, Imperial Knights were part of a unique class of nobility. These knights were independent rulers of small territories, but unlike other feudal lords, they answered directly to the emperor, not to any intermediate king or duke. This granted them a special status. They had autonomy over their lands, but were also tasked with defending the empire during times of war. They served as both military leaders and protectors of imperial authority. Yet, despite their prestigious title, Imperial Knights often struggled financially, and many turned to mercenary work to support themselves. Just like Goetz did, Goetz quickly embraced this role, becoming a prominent mercenary in a world rife with feuds and battles. But it wasn't just his skill with a sword that made him infamous. His story took a dramatic turn in 1504 during the Siege of Landshut, where a single event would change his life forever. In the chaos of battle, Goetz's right hand was struck by a cannonball, shattering it beyond repair. For most knights, losing their sword hand would have meant the end of their career. But Goetz was no ordinary knight. Rather than surrender to fate, Goetz took a bold and unprecedented step. He had an iron prosthetic hand crafted. This iron hand was a marvel of medieval technology, with movable fingers that allowed Goetz to continue fighting, writing, and even holding a quill. His new iron fist didn't just restore his ability to fight, it became a symbol of his resilience, determination, and ferocity. Goetz's iron hand turned him into a living legend, but what kept him in the annals of history wasn't just his ability to adapt, it was his relentless spirit and his thirst for battle. Despite his injury, Goetz returned to the battlefield, leading a band of mercenaries known as the Black Company. Together, they fought in countless feuds, skirmishes, and wars, earning a reputation for their brutal effectiveness. Yet, Goetz's life wasn't just defined by violence. As an Imperial Knight, he was bound by a personal code of honor. Though he served many lords, Goetz was known to refuse service for causes he didn't believe in, choosing instead to fight only for what he saw as just. His fierce independence and unyielding spirit would lead him to one of the most dramatic moments of his life. In 1525, the German Peasants War erupted, a massive uprising where peasants rose up against their feudal lords, demanding better conditions and an end to oppressive taxes. The rebellion spread like wildfire, and the peasants sought out someone to lead them into battle. That's when they turned to Goetz, who, surprisingly, agreed. Despite being a nobleman himself, Goetz sympathized with some of their grievances. The peasants were tired of being trampled by the higher classes, and Goetz, who had fought against noble treachery throughout his life, understood their frustrations. Under Goetz's command, the peasant forces gained strength. His iron hand was a symbol of rebellion, inspiring the downtrodden to rise up. However, it didn't take long for Goetz to realize that the Peasants Revolt was far more chaotic and violent than he had anticipated. The cause he had agreed to fight for spiraled out of control. Goetz, unable to reconcile his personal code with the brutality of the rebellion, eventually withdrew from the conflict, stating that he no longer wanted to participate in the bloodshed. This decision would come at a cost. Goetz's involvement in the Peasants' War put him at odds with the authorities, and he was imprisoned for his role in the uprising. Despite being locked away, his legend continued to grow. Even behind bars, Goetz von Berlichingen's spirit couldn't be broken. What's remarkable about Goetz is how he managed to survive in such a violent and unpredictable time. He fought for decades, often switching sides depending on who he thought was in the right. He was imprisoned multiple times, but always managed to find his way back to freedom. His iron hand became a symbol of his unbreakable willpower and his refusal to back down, no matter the odds. But perhaps Goetz's most enduring legacy is his defiance. He is famously remembered for coining the phrase, kann mich im Arsche lecken, or roughly translated, he can kiss my ass. This phrase, delivered in defiance of the authorities who tried to imprison or control him, has become legendary. It represents Goetz's unyielding spirit, his refusal to submit to anyone, whether it was a feudal lord, an emperor, or even fate itself. Goetz's later years were surprisingly peaceful, given his violent youth. After being released from prison, he retired to his family estate, where he lived to the age of 82, a remarkable feat for someone who spent so much of his life in battle. He died in 1562, leaving behind a legacy that would be immortalized in literature and folklore. In fact, Goetz's life was so extraordinary that it caught the attention of one of Germany's greatest writers, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, who wrote a play about him in 1773, further cementing his place in history. But why does Goetz of the Iron Hand continue to fascinate us today? Is it the image of the fearsome knight with an iron fist? His defiance against authority? Or perhaps his relentless pursuit of justice on his own terms? It's likely all of these combined. Goetz embodies the spirit of rebellion and resilience, a man who overcame great personal loss and turned it into a strength that terrified his enemies and inspired those who followed him. If you enjoyed learning about the legendary Goetz of the Iron Hand, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with anyone who loves tales of rebellious knights and medieval warfare, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from history. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more epic adventures from the past.